So we always love this time of year around our station because that means that it is the Independent Give campaign time, and so pleased to be a part of this yet again. Each year, cooler and cooler. This year, 58 local nonprofits being highlighted. I think that is the most so far on record that at least I've been a participant in. So we love that because these are groups, if you're new to the area, that really are giving back to our community. They're local. This isn't a national thing, nothing like that. These are all good local folks that are giving up their time to make our community a better place. And on top of that, it's not easy to become a part of this. This isn't just something that you go, oh yeah, I think we want to be a part of that. Okay. It's a pretty arduous process on getting into this. So I always say these are by far the best and brightest nonprofits in town. And one of those is Pikes PeaK Urban Gardens. And with me, I have Larry Stebbins with them. Good morning.
Hey, good morning, Coba.
So Larry, talk to us, for people that this is their first time ever hearing about Pikes PeaK Urban Gardens. Talk to us about what you guys are all about.
Well, about 5 years ago, we started this organization to help build community gardens around the city. At that time, there was about 3 or 4 community gardens where people can come together in a neighborhood and they get their own plot and they garden and they get to keep their own vegetables. Most of the community gardens were full up, so the need was pretty good. So we started this nonprofit and we helped build those community gardens through grants and donations and partnering with different organizations around town.
I think this is really neat because it does show that shift that people are kind of getting back to this, which is cool.
It is. There's, it seems like it was like the right time for this. People want to get back to growing their own food. They want to find out what is in their food. Every time there's a food scare, we get more calls.
Right.
I want to grow my own spinach because I'm concerned. But the best part about this is we're able to do this in neighborhoods that could probably not afford to build it themselves because it takes a considerable amount of resources to get it done. So we're fortunate enough to have most of our gardens in low-income neighborhoods.
That's pretty neat. And for people, I mean, you and I were talking off air. I grew up with parents that were both farm kids. So that's
a great way to grow up.
Yeah, always been a part of my life. Always, we always had a garden, even living in town, that we had and things of that nature. For people that have never gone through the process of it, it is a lot more than people anticipate it being, I think.
Well, it is, but it's fun.
Totally.
We tell people it's the journey. It's not necessarily the destination. If you enjoy gardening, it's just one of the best activities ever. If you don't know if you enjoy it, start out small,
right.
With a real small garden plot, and see if it's something you enjoy. But if you're just looking for, I want that tomato, well, it's probably easier to go to a local farmer's market. Mm-hmm. But the journey is wonderful. I mean, people come together at these gardens that you would never expect. Doctors and lawyers next to folks that some of them are homeless. And they get referred by services around town to us. And we find them a plot and we scholarship them in. And they grow their own food. And it's amazing to see when people take off the labels, how they all get along.
I think that is so cool, and that's something I love about Give, is we see more and more of this, and not only the Give participants bringing people together, but the Give participants coming together with various groups going, oh, you know what, that would work beautifully if we got together and worked on this.
That's what happened to us. Places like Springs Rescue Mission and Gresham Housing.
Yeah.
We built a garden with those folks at the Dorchester Garden. And now that garden is 100% dedicated for food for the homeless folks. And it's run by Springs Rescue Mission. I mean, they garden there. We give them advice. We provide all of the materials they need, all of the seeds and the plants and everything else, and the training. And they take over the gardening duties. But all that food goes right back into those folks that need it. And it's a wonderful partnership. So you are right. We wouldn't have discovered that if we hadn't been part of the Indie Give.
It's really cool to see that. And if you've ever grown something from the get-go all the way to your table, it's such a neat experience, and especially to get kids involved too in that, and such a cool family thing to be a part of as well.
Well, it is, and we found out that not just community gardens, because when you build a community garden, the folks basically lease a bit of that for the year. And mostly the charge is about $30 to $40, and it just pays for the water. Folks that can't afford it, we find ways to pay their water bill and provide them with seeds and plants, so no one is ever turned away. But we can't go in there and teach people how we grow. So we're down at Harlan Wolf Ranch down there on West Cheyenne Road.
Okay.
And we've got 4 acres down there, and that is open to the public during the season. And families come by, and children can pick and nibble, and there's never a charge for that. And they get to see fresh vegetables. Parents are amazed that their kids would eat fresh spinach picked out of the garden, but they do. And we have different colored carrots. Every child that comes there, we let them a chance to pick from our rainbow carrot garden.
Cool.
And some of them are purple, some are yellow, some are white. We wash them off and the kids walk around nibbling carrots. But they learn a little bit about the foods. And parents get a chance to try out some different things at home as well.
It's pretty funny because I think if you would take a child through and explain most of what goes into like a prepackaged Lunchable.
Oh, yeah.
I don't think they'd ever eat
No,
one
they probably
again.
wouldn't. They probably wouldn't.
What a
No.
neat opportunity, not only to help the community grow, but also to grow health awareness and things for generations to come as well.
Well, we offer an educational counterpart, too, because we found out it's just not enough starting a garden. So we have monthly garden classes, and we usually have to rent out a school auditorium because we get about 300 to 350 people
Nice.
come each month. And it's just a nominal charge, $5. And again, people who can't afford it are welcome to come. And our next class will be in January. We had one last month, which was about 300 folks attend.
Okay.
And it'll be, if they want to visit our webpage, they can see the times and dates of those classes coming up.
Now, if people are hearing this, of course, we want to send them through the Give campaign to help out. That would be fantastic.
Yes.
If they are also hearing this and going, well, I wonder if they need volunteers or in-kind donations, are there things of that nature that you need, and where can they go for information?
Well, they can come to our webpage and let us know. And then what we do is through the year, we schedule volunteers in. We tell them what's available that week, and then they respond. And sometimes we may need 3, sometimes we may need 6 or so. And the first 6 that respond, we schedule them in. And then they come down and basically learn how to garden, help us till the soil, or meet with some visitors that stop by the garden and show them for a tour. So we welcome all. It's usually not too much hard labor. We take care of that ourselves. But it's usually light labor or just enjoyable gardening. And we really want to bring people in to show them the gardening experience.
Yeah, there's something about, if you haven't ever gotten to do that, there's something about getting your hands dirty.
Oh, I love it.
Just as, I don't know, makes you feel good, and it puts you back in touch, I think, with your roots. We've gotten, I don't want to say lazy, because that's a horrible thing. There's great things about technology, but there's something about going back to knowing that, you know what, worst case scenario ever came true, I could still survive because I know what I'm doing here.
Well, I think that's true. It makes us a little more food self-sufficient, and that's when you feel like you have a little more control over what things are going on around you. I think it brings a little peace of mind, and I think that's important for some. You know, getting back to the experience in the garden, I want to tell you the biggest joy we have is watching children harvest the potatoes.
Oh, I can imagine.
To dig down into the soil, and all of a sudden they discover this potato down there about a foot underneath the soil. It's amazing because they weren't expecting it, and it's just great. And we say, okay, now take this home, scrub it up, cook it, and you'll love it. Tastes just like what you get on your plate. And it's amazing that children now learn a little bit about where the food comes from, and that to me is exciting, watching their smiles on their faces and the surprises.
Oh, I can only fathom. How fun. I think it'd be fun for adults, too, that have no clue.
Well, I don't know if adults would say they don't know where a potato comes from, but there may be a few.
Surprised. Yeah, I was going to.
There may be a few. But, we welcome all, and this year we're starting a pretty neat project. In the next 2 weeks, we'll be building out a community garden in the Mill Street neighborhood off of South Nevada. And that one is a partnership between the City of Colorado Springs Utilities, and Pikes PeaK Urban Gardens.
Nice.
And that'll be for the neighborhood. It'll be a walk-in garden where people in the neighborhood could walk down and meet each other, because sometimes we don't get out of our houses as much as we probably would like to. And it offers a place to do that and a place for them to grow their own food. So we're looking forward to that one. It should be a great project for us.
That's exciting.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts? What would you like to see? Just more for the future?
More community gardens, because every one of our community gardens that we've started has a wait list. The Harrison Urban Gardens off of Lake Street, the Westside Center, Community Center off of 17th and Bijou, a wait list. And there we built raised beds for the elderly and the folks in wheelchairs. So we may have some spots next year, but right now it's full up. But they can go to our webpage. Just Google these 3 or 4 letters. Google these 4 letters, PPUG. It stands for Pikes PeaK Urban Gardens. So just Google PPUG and click on it, and it'll get you to our homepage, and you'll see all the information you need. And we'll also have information there linking them up to the Indie Give during the months of November and December. So if you'd like to donate, it's a great way to support these projects.
This is really neat. My favorite part about Give is there's so many that half the time I only get to meet maybe a quarter of the participants with our portion of things that we handle. So it's fun. Every year I see some familiar faces. I get to meet a bunch of new ones, and I hear about all these neat projects that here I've been growing up here and not had a clue about. So that is exciting.
And us too, all the nonprofits together. And it's amazing that this city really is a city of giving. We saw it with the Waldo Canyon fire disaster relief that took place, and we've always had good support. And but the need is actually increasing. We have more and more people who wish to grow their own food, especially in neighborhoods where they may not have the resources to do so, or they live in apartments, or they have too many trees around in their some of these older neighborhoods. So this gives an opportunity for people to get out and enjoy the art of gardening and get some great fresh food, I think.
Yeah, and good exercise
Good
on
exercise.
top of all of it.
Oh, yeah.
So it's kind of a nice, well-rounded. I tell people something will catch your heartstring, and that is who you need to donate to. And if several catch your heartstring, even better, because all of these groups, again, local, doing wonderful things within our community, and the best thing we can do is support those to see them continue to succeed and provide. So thank you so much.
Well, you're welcome. And you saw I brought you some garlic, fresh garlic.
Tell me about these, because we've got extra time today.
All right.
I want to hear about these.
We love growing garlic, and it's so simple. And if you haven't tasted some of the gourmet garlics that you can get, these are from all over the world. Chesnok Red here is one you can roast, and it gets real creamy. It's delicious. This one, Spanish Roja, was considered to be one of the most aromatic garlics on the planet. So you cook with this, your whole house will fill with this warm, aromatic garlic. Not real pungent, it's just warm and aromatic. But the second best one is Inchilium Red. So you can try these three, and you'll never go back to store-bought white German porcelain white garlic again at the store. It's okay, but nothing like this stuff. And we teach people how to grow this, and it's so easy to do. So easy to do. And when people have success, they come back and do it again the next year. And that's our whole mission, is to make sure that people enjoy it and know how to do it, have success with it, and so they'll return to it the following year. And maybe it might make a dent in some of the need at some of the food banks and things like that, if people can supply their own food. So
I love that. Well, thank you for these, because I can guarantee you now I will take those home. I'm a lousy cook. My husband is an excellent one, so he will fall in love with those, and we'll have something other than pumpkins for our garden this next year.
Well, yeah, that'll be great. And you could plant these now if you want, and I'll show you how to do that off the air.
Perfect, Larry. Thank you again.
Well, thanks, Coba. Thanks for having us.